Hello, this is Winston Cunningham. It is July 14th, 2025. And a friend requested that I talk about this today, so I want to talk about paying attention, and the key word being pay. As I pointed out on an earlier talk, I became aware of what it was, or what it is, to pay attention by doing the concentration exercises assigned as a student at the School of Metaphysics. And the transition that a person makes when they start doing the concentration exercises is, to begin with, a person has no idea what distracts them. So the concentration exercises, in the beginning at least, put you through the experience that causes you to see or to realize what it is that is distracting you. And I did a whole talk on distractions, or as opposed to just getting on with it. Because distractions are simply an excuse. And a person that has not been initiated yet may like the excuses enough to reach for more and more. I see evidence of this at the YMCA a lot, because people came there to work out, but their main focus seems to be on keeping themselves satisfied in the meantime. They've got headphones on, they may be chewing gum, which is a distraction in itself, and they may be listening to music, which is okay, because music represents harmony. But when you're there to work out, and your full attention is not on working out, but on listening to music and have an excuse to put your attention away from what you're doing, that is derogatory. It may help you physically to get in better shape, but mentally you're losing out. The only way that a person can become aware of what they need to be aware of is to pay attention. And the pay means you're directing your attention into deliberately keeping your attention on the one thing that you are doing right now. Now, some things you can do while you got your attention somewhere else. But if you really want to understand what the word pay means, pay means the effort that you're putting into it. And if the effort you're putting into it, something is half-assed, then you can expect half-assed results. And if you're satisfied with that, then go your way. And maybe you'll catch it the next lifetime. Maybe. The number of lifetimes a person winds up spending is subjective. We've all got to get something done. We've all got to completely understand ourselves. And there's 144,000 different parts of that. We've all got to do that. But each person is on his own time frame. So, and you can't compare one person with another, because each person is the result of the effort they've put out in this lifetime and previous lifetimes to actually learn about themselves. Now, a lot of times you'll have something come to you spontaneously that you weren't expecting. Pay attention to these, because many times this is clues what you've learned in a previous lifetime. And I've been surprised a bunch of times. And I can remember the first thing I heard from within, or that represented something that was over and above what I was aware of. It's when I was either early in high school or maybe even before that. A group of us guys were standing around outside the church after it was over, and we were talking about a mutual friend of ours that was having difficulty, and we were all suggesting, well, he needs some sort of help. And I heard this voice coming from within me that said, I can help. I said, ooh, where the hell did that come from? And it freaked me out, because I said, well, at that point, at least, I didn't see myself as no helper. I said, what the hell is this? But it was me, at least, it's my own soul trying to get my attention to remember what it was that I decided when I was existing as a soul before I got into this body. It was trying to get my attention, and that's what dreams are about, to get your attention. And if they don't get your attention, sometimes you have nightmares, because that's the subconscious mind needing to try harder and harder to get your attention. The more you get distracted and the more you look away, the harder it becomes. And of course, this is by choice. So the phrase paying attention. Attention is the one faculty that you have in mind. Your attention is your own power. And if you learn how to use your attention, then you become more powerful. It was stated in the lesson at the School of Metaphysics. Through concentration and meditation, a person makes himself powerful. And powerful because you learn to concentrate your thoughts more. And concentrated thought is very dense. Concentrated thought. If you buy a liquid in a concentrate form, then you dilute it with water. Water represents experience. But the more you can direct your attention to a fine point, when your attention, if you imagine, is like this flashlight. If you concentrate the power of this light, this flashlight, into a single point, it would be a laser. So light, which is awareness, through your attention, the more you can focus on it, the more powerful it becomes. And the more you can pay attention, the more you can put effort into your attention deliberately to direct your attention, the more you can do that, then the more powerful you become. And the more powerful you become, when you're directing your attention into understanding what the hell's going on and what's going on in here, then you begin to see more. And at some point, you raise yourself to another level, and then another level, and then another level. Or you can ignore the whole thing and just stay at the level where you are. And I've told many people, if you want to know what you should do or shouldn't do, just pick a religion. They'll be glad to tell you. That'll keep you the same damn place. If you want to go higher than where you are, then paying attention is the key to the whole thing. The key that unlocks the door. You remember Jesus saying, if you want to know something, ask. That's the way I found the School of Metaphysics. And if you knock on the door, it will be open to you. And just recently, at 81 years old, I've had a new door open to me. If you want to listen to my last talk, I'm there to talk about a new state of mind that I've reached. And this comes from effort, not from some BS I heard through the church or the religion. I say BS, it's before science. But it's belief without experience. And the only way you can learn is through experience. You can hear something, you can read something, you can believe something, but until you experience it, you do not know it. And it amazes me how many people say they studied Jesus and don't understand that he brought the knowing quality into the picture. The knowing quality. That is above belief. Now, it takes belief to get to knowing, but if you stop at belief, your life's going to stay the same. Lifetime after lifetime, as long as it takes. So now we all have this job to do. And I ask myself this question a lot, especially when I first started studying, even at School of Metaphysics. And the big question is, well, yeah, it makes sense that we've got to do this. I said, but what's the hurry? And I don't really have a clear answer to that, but I keep feeling pulled to do more, to understand myself more. So I don't know if there's a hurry, but I know for me, I spent a lot of my 20s just wanting all this stuff to go away. I could see nobody else was bothered with it, so why should I be bothered with it? Well, but I finally figured out, or through evidence, through experience, that this push comes because while I was existing as a soul before I got into this body, I decided to do this. And then I got caught up in a bunch of other things and forgot about it. And that's what most people do. They don't remember having chose to be who they are and to experience what they are experiencing. This was all by choice. Nothing is accidental. Each lifetime, you choose what you will experience. In fact, it is our intention behind what we're doing that causes it is our intention that sets into motion what we will experience. So there's no accident involved. A lot of people are trying to figure out why this happens, why that happens, why God did this to this, and why God didn't do that to that. Well, God didn't have nothing to do with it. God gave us each everything he had in the beginning. What we've done since represents how we understand what he gave us. And for the most part, I understand a lot more than I did at the beginning of this lifetime, or even a little while ago. I understand a lot more, but it's because I put in the effort. It was not bestowed upon me as if like a gift, but we were all given the same damn thing. So leading me back to this discussion on paying attention causes you to see more of what is. Somebody asked me one day, I had said something about the School of Metaphysics, and he said, well, what is metaphysics? And I thought for a moment, and I said, well, metaphysics is what is. And as my teacher put it, metaphysics describes how things work. Paying attention. So if you're interested, course, you can be a student at School of Metaphysics and get the whole shooting match. But most people are not going to do that. So if you watch, I told somebody just yesterday, texting, that if they wanted to know who I am, just listen. Well, I told a nephew the other day, just in text. I said, if you want to hear my talks, if you listen to one a day, right now it's going to take you about 2 months to hear them all. And I don't know if anybody's going to do that, but that's the reason I put these talks here, is because somebody who needs to hear what I'm saying right now, if they're sincere about it, their own soul will direct them to this video. That's the way it works. So once I do a video, I don't attach myself to who hears it and who don't. That's not what is important. It's important for me to give this. Who receives it is none of my business. I'm glad to talk to people if they want to talk. But I don't need to be the most popular person on the internet. That would become a big distraction in itself. And of course, I've got my own things that distract me, but I'm making a lot of progress there. Because, and another talk I give, I pointed out that as we relinquish the need to be entertained, and once we relax into really making some progress, then the universe we open up unlimited entertainment from the universe. It's amazing. So I don't, I remember when, during the time when I was studying at School of Metaphysics, I didn't watch TV at all. I was plugged into what I was doing, and that's, if you want to know how to lose weight, listen to my talk on the weight principle, because I lost weight and I wasn't trying to lose weight. But I was using all the energy I was taking in directed into something. In other words, I was paying attention. I was paying attention. So if you want to get to a higher place than where you are, then learn how to pay attention. And the key word is pay, because that is the effort. It don't cost you anything to learn, but the only expense is the effort. And that's what the word pay means. Paying attention. I'm Winston Cunningham. Have a good day. Thank you.